All right, so we're here with a piece that I originally called the heart. And the reason I called it the heart is pretty obvious. It's because of the shape, but also because of this area here. You see these, I thought they looked like arteries coming in and out of the heart. And you can see about how big it is from that perspective right there. Someone with a big heart. So when I first discovered it, though, I really had no idea how special this piece was. I did notice, though, that it was quite a bit bigger than the other stone tools that I had found previously. It was quite a bit bigger. I recognized the shape right away. Clearly like a hatchet or an axe type shape to it. And so that was really obvious. But then, I couldn't believe how big it was. This thing is pretty huge, and you can see it's very thick too. It's pretty heavy. It's I put it through a rock identifier app, and it tells me that it's limestone. And if anyone out there thinks it might be a different type of stone, please do let me know, because the app isn't always accurate, and I'm quite new to all this, so I would love any feedback that anyone has regarding any of this. Really, really appreciate it. So when I first discovered this piece, I was really excited. I actually managed to get a small little video clip of when I first discovered it. This was on October 12th, 2023, and I do have a little clip of that I will include in this video. But I really had no idea how special it was, and I'll get into why it's so special in a minute, but I just wanted to show you the edges, show you the back. You can see things have been etched in there, and some drill holes. Big hole there, that's where it would have been affixed to some kind of shaft, right? Probably a wooden shaft. Another drill hole that's been drilled in. I have no idea how they did these, by the way. That looks perfect when you examine it. It almost looks like they used some kind of other tool. You see this line here, some kind of other tool to make. Obviously they used another tool, but I wonder what it looked like and how they did that. That's fascinating to me, how perfect those drill holes are in something like limestone. So this piece was always one of my favorites, and it kept calling me back. And the other night I was just packing up and leaving the studio, and the lighting was a bit different. It was darker, and I noticed the shadows that it was casting were interesting. And I always thought that all of this was just weathering, right? And, even this. And then I realized, wait a second. Okay, so then I decided, I thought, okay, those look like they're intentional. And then I thought, well, if I've always been holding it like this because I liked it that way. And I thought, well, I should look at it the way it would have appeared when it was on the shaft holding it. And so I tilted it like this, and I was like, are those eyes? You see right here? Here and here. And then I was like, are those nostrils? I was like, is this an animal? And I was like, that looks like a snake. And I actually have a little video. It's really rough and it's in bad lighting, but it's when I first came to that realization that I think this is a snake head. And then I always thought this part was broken off. But there's a few reasons why I believe that it was intentionally done this way. The first one is, something that I've learned over the past few months is that all of this stuff is intentional. All these little grooves, all these little notches, all these little markings, they all have a purpose and a reason behind them. And these guys were brilliant at making these things. They were master craftsmen. So when you spend this much time on something, to hammer and chisel this out the way that it is, all smooth on the edges and sides, and this is all intentional. And then I thought, well, these grooves too couldn't have been inside the stone, right? You can tell that all of this has been etched out. Especially that. Like if that was a piece that broke off, those etchings wouldn't be inside there. Right? Those are handmade. And you can really tell when you see it up close. I'll do some close-ups. So that really made me realize that this is all intentional. This looks like a snake head to me. Probably with his mouth open. Right? And then you look at the back. And these etchings really have me fascinated. So if it would have appeared like basically like that on an axe or a hatchet, then you flip it over and that's what it would have appeared like on the other side looking at it. And these really had me intrigued, and I would love any feedback on what you guys think these might be, because all of these are intentional. This one kind of looks like a fish to me, but then there's like markings. And so another thing I've been trying to be aware of and look for is a specific marking, similar to the way sword makers would have done, or still do, where they put their mark, their branding on their work, so that you can identify who made it. And I'm really excited to see if I ever discover some kind of common mark between pieces. And maybe that would be some kind of signature for the person who crafted this piece. Like, see that right there. This is interesting to me. This marking right here. And I do believe I may have found that on another piece, which I will show you guys sometime. Like, look at these circles. There's a reason to these. There's a purpose. And I haven't figured out what it is yet. But I am determined that I'm going to discover what this piece is all about. You can see some vegetation that's all dried up in there. And I've taken a bunch of close-up photos, really high detail, high def, so that you guys can take a look and let me know what you think. What this might have been. Or what it may have been used for. The snake was regarded as, I want to read this directly here. Snakes are often regarded as poor omens and are typically avoided by many Native American tribes. This is because they're often associated with violence and revenge. However, some Mexican and Californian tribes revere certain kinds of snakes, especially the king snake. So if they regarded this as a bad omen associated with violence and revenge, that would certainly make sense that this may have been some kind of weapon and not just your average tool. So our mission here is to really figure a few things out. It's important for our history to know who made these, like who made them. How old are they? How long ago were these made? What did those people look like? What was their life like? If it was the Petun natives, they were also known as the tobacco people. And we know a little bit about them, which I will get into in some future videos. But I'm not really sure that these were created by them. I really don't know. I've got, like I said, I've discovered several artifacts, and many of them depicting shapes of animals. I've found birds, bird heads, snakes, fish, some skulls, what I think is a beaver. So animals and spirit animals were clearly a big part of the native life, and they were very spiritual people. And one thing that I thought was interesting that I discovered is that they didn't see the physical realm and the spiritual realm as two. They just saw the world as one. So the spiritual realm was the same place as the physical realm. And that's kind of a mind-blowing way to look at our life on this planet, this firmament, in this realm, in this matrix, whatever you prefer to call it. And it's very important for us to know where we came from, what our true history is. I'm really anxious to find out how old these things might be. Some of them seem much older than others that I've found, so it makes me wonder how far back this goes. Like, if we're talking Stone Age, we're talking like 5,000 plus years ago, up to like 2.5 million years ago. And some of them look so much different and rudimentary and weathered than others that I have a hard time thinking that they're all from the same era or the same people even. So I'm very curious to get your feedback on what you might think this was or is or may have been used for. And you can read the whole story about my discovery and my thoughts and how I came to certain conclusions about things on my Medium page at Based Human. And that would be amazing because we're obviously not sponsored at all and have no funding to do this kind of thing. But I think it's really important for not only the history of the Niagara region, so locally, but as humanity as a whole, like, how capable were these people? This stuff is incredible. The ergonomics built into some of these tools is unrivaled even today. It's incredible how a piece of stone can be manipulated and ground down and polished into something that just fits perfectly, like perfectly. And not only that, a lot of these pieces you can tell if it was made for a left-handed or right-handed person, because sometimes you hold it in your right hand and it doesn't quite fit, and then you hold it in your left hand and you're like, oh, that's it. That's it. They were left-handed, and you can actually tell that from a tool like from potentially thousands of years ago. It's just mind-blowing stuff. Can't wait to show you those pieces too. So that would be amazing. Or just follow us, like us, share it. That's obviously a huge help, and we just want to share this and do this, on behalf of all of us. I think it's really important. So we want to keep doing it. We really want to learn our true history, right? I feel like we haven't been told everything, and there's a lot of politics involved and a lot of ideological agendas involved, and I'm a truth seeker by heart, by nature. I ask a lot of questions, and I never just accept what we're told. Basically, I always have to look into it myself, and I do lots of research when it comes to what I'm interested in. So I do feel like there's a lot we haven't been told. A lot has been lost, and a lot of it hasn't been told the proper way. So we just want to approach this as scientifically as possible, as clearly as possible, and really involve the community. I would love to hear your comments, your thoughts on all of this stuff, and whether it's criticisms, whatever, we want to hear it because it makes all of us better. It makes the story better. It makes it clearer. We all learn something, and that's what we're really here for, to just learn the truth and to explore and discover what's out there.